Kaiju number 8's senses, specifically his sense of the danger, Kaiju number 8's ability to navigate the dangers around him, are not Kafka's. They're little guys. Hello, my wonderful viewers, and welcome to another episode of Betty Adams Overanalyzes. Today we're going to take a look at a question that was posed by Reddit user Siegfried 00. And it's a very good question. So, in the chapter where Reno shows up rocking weapon number 6, Kaiju number 8 has an intense, visceral fear reaction that literally stops him in his tracks and temporarily overwhelms him. He's like, what is that power? There's a power over there. I am freaked out by it. And Reddit user Siegfried raises a very, very good question. Why did the power of Kaiju number 6, who is said to have a fortitude less than Kaiju number 8, why was it so terrifying? At the time, I didn't think about it because it seemed logical to me, but I'd like to go over why it was so logical for Kaiju number 8 to react so strongly to a numbered weapon being wielded by a Defense Force officer showing up in the fight. And the teal deer version of it is this, not to bury the lead. As we've seen chapter over chapter over chapter, the senses that Kaiju number 8 has access to and the threat analysis that Kaiju number 8 has access to are far more little guys, that little Kaiju who crawled down Kafka's throat in the first place, than they are Kafka's. All right, I'm going to get through the details. There's going to be some mild spoilers for chapter 103, but I just want to get the, and so I'm going to take a minute to give you a chance to click away by telling you to go check out the links below the video to get yourself a copy of my book, Beware the Ides of March. On March 15th, Flying Sparks will finally be ready for release. As long as with my usual Humans Are Weird books, if all you want is a little nonsense and less drama. All right, but now let's get back to work. So, Kaiju number 8 senses a massive Kaiju power that just overwhelms him with terror. Why? Kaiju number 6 was not as powerful as even Kafka's first manifestation as Kaiju number 8. Kaiju number 6 was, I think, a 9.6. Kaiju number 8 was a 9.8. So, Kaiju number 8 has the power to completely overwhelm Kaiju number 6 just on a 1-to-1 toe-to-toe. So why was Kaiju number 8's instinctive reaction so visceral, so terrified? Well, the important thing to remember is that these aren't Kafka's senses. They're Kaiju number 8's. They are the developed sensory inputs, instincts, and impulses of little guy, the little Kaiju that threw down his throat. So the simple, straightforward answer might simply be that the fear reaction is that of a very small Kaiju that has not yet, or might not be capable of processing how powerful Kaiju number 8 is in reaction to the creatures around it. Take your average horse, for instance. They have been bred by humans to be massive, some of them weighing up to literally a ton. But horses weren't always like that. When humans first started to domesticate horses, they were barely bigger. They were probably smaller than the large dogs we have now. They were prey animals, skittish and nervous, and they maintain that skittishness and nervousness despite being these super massive tanks that could one-shot KO the majority of North American predators. But the horse's genes still remember it when it was a teeny dog-sized horse in an environment that had saber-toothed tigers. So maybe that's what's going on. Kaiju number 8 still thinks of itself, its instincts still think of itself as the little guy, that teeny tiny little Kaiju who could have been one-shotted by anything. Or there might be another reason if we assume that little guy's intelligence level, he can speak. If we assume that the little guy is intellectually affecting Kafka, there might be another reason. The very first time that Kaiju number 8 had to face down a known human ally, a human ally that Kafka knew, wielding a powerful numbered weapon, i.e. when they faced down ISO wielding number 2, Kafka, little guy, got the ever-loving snot beaten out of them, entirely unjustly from little guy's perspective. And then, after that, the one other time that Kaiju number 8, the combination of the human Kafka and the little guy, was in battle with numbered weapons, something hugely traumatic happened. That is the loss of ISO. And this goes back to my theory that the intelligence of that little kaiju is still that of a developing child, learning off of Kafka's impulses. The one time that the main instance is that nipple pee joke back in chapter 1 or 2, when the little guy can feel that the body is overheating, so he vents steam instinctively, and Kafka has a very negative reaction, and Kaiju number 8 has never vented steam to cool down again, even though Kaiju number 8 has been in situations where he was obviously overheating. So it seems that the little guy altered his behavior based on strong emotions from Kafka. So it's entirely possible that kaiju intelligence, that little guy, is feeding Kafka this danger sense because the little guy's only ever experienced hugely traumatic things happen when a friend shows up wielding a numbered weapon. And Reno, the closest, oldest friend that little guy is aware of, shows up rocking the most powerful numbered weapon of all. Well, that reaction might just be a traumatized little kaiju bracing itself for the next trauma to fall. As far as little guys knows, Reno's going to turn on him and start beating them up again. And that is one of the most logical fear, that friend Reno is going to turn on them just like friend Iso did. And if Kafka was willing to let them both die rather than harm friend Iso, what would Kafka do to prevent the little guy from hurting Reno? Again, none of this is logical from a full-grown human perspective, but we're not dealing with a human mind, but the mind of a very small, very vulnerable, very possibly childlike kaiju. So the TLDR for all that is this reaction that Kafka has to Reno showing up, that fear reaction to Kaiju number 6's energy, might be the Kaiju brain providing It might be that the Kaiju brain providing that danger sense doesn't understand how powerful Kaiju number 8 is, or it might be that the Kaiju brain providing the danger sense has only ever had terribly bad things happen when powerful numbered weapons users show up. But what do you think, my wonderful viewers? Do you think this is basically the logical explanation for the situation like I do? Or do you have a number theory? Why was Kaiju number 8's danger sense triggered so badly when Reno rocked up wearing weapon number 6? Please leave your comments below telling me what you think. Hit that like and subscribe button, and peace out, my wonderful viewers.
Escape into another world with the writings of author Betty Adams. 2 worlds, one of utter absurdity, one of dramatic tension, both alike in aliens absolutely astounded by human behavior. Humans are weird, short, absurd science fiction stories. Flying sparks, dragons, aliens, and things that go boom in the night.
Books available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kobo by Rakuten, Google Play Books, and at authorBettyAdams.com for a signed copy.